So he's a tough guy, Michael. He's a tough guy. And that tough guy is in the fight of his political life. There are reports out this morning that his campaign manager is saying to everybody, we've just endured the hardest 2 effing weeks that anyone's ever had to undergo in political history. And if we can do that, if we can survive this, we can survive anything. I mean, I think President Trump and his Access Hollywood tape might beg to differ. But you tell me whether at this point, on this Friday, you think this is survivable by Joe Biden.
I think those Democrat elites are some bad dudes, and I think they run with some bad boys. But old Joe, he's tough, and he knows how to diffuse it. And more importantly, he's got all the delegates locked up. So they really can't do anything unless they drag him out of the White House on a stretcher, or unless they invoke the 25th Amendment. They can't really do anything. Yesterday, there was some rumor that Joe might decide he was going to step down as the Democrat nominee. But that obviously could not happen, because if Joe Biden were to step down as the nominee, he would have to resign the presidency because of the reason that he would be stepping down as the nominee, namely that he's obviously senile and his brain doesn't work anymore. So if his brain doesn't work anymore to run for president, his brain doesn't work sufficiently to be the president. And so he would have to resign the presidency, and he's not going to do that. Biden has wanted to be president since he was in the womb. He got elected to the U.S. Senate before he was constitutionally old enough to serve. He's not giving it up. I don't think he likes any of these Democrat operatives. I don't think he likes Kamala Harris one little bit. And so why would he go down in disgrace and humiliation for them? He's not going to do it. So they're going to have to try to wrest it from him. That would probably include invoking the 25th Amendment. The performance at NATO was not as bad as the debate. Exactly. It wasn't all that much better. I don't even really know what Biden said. My main takeaway from the press conference is that President Biden and Vice President Donald Trump have done a great job supporting President Vladimir Putin of Ukraine, and that's why NATO is stronger than ever.
It was one of those things when he called introducing Zelensky, he called him President Putin. My team sent it out like circulated. I wasn't in front of the TV at the moment. I thought it was a joke for sure. I just thought 100% this is Babylon B. He didn't actually do that, did he? And sure enough, he did do that. Here, do we have that moment? Okay, let's watch it.
And now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin. He's going to beat President Putin. President Zelensky. I'm so focused on beating Putin, we got to worry about it. Anyway, Mr. President.
I'm better.
You are a hell of a lot better.
Thank you so much.
I mean, and what we're hearing is that those who were close to the president in the first row actually had to yell out, "You mean Zelensky? Zelensky." Like, so he didn't even do the correction on his own. It had to be called to his attention. By the way, Michael, amazingly, his campaign tweeted that out. They tweeted out that exchange as if it was something to be proud of.
Well, that's because it had already gone everywhere. So I think whatever campaign flack was running the account at the time thought, might as well try to control the narrative. If we, the narrative has already escaped us, and I don't think they did a great job of it. But they didn't amplify it all that much more, in as much as everyone had already covered it. This is the president of the United States preparing for his first big boy press conference in 8 months at the NATO summit, talking about the first major war in Europe since World War II. You're not going to be able to bury that one. And you heard he tried to recover. So he said, Putin, I meant Zelensky. I'm so focused on beating Putin. And then he trails off and he says, well, anyway, and that's it. And you saw this verbal tick up again during that press conference. I think if I took a shot of vodka every time Biden lost his train of thought and concluded with, well, anyway, I would be almost as dead as Joe Biden.
Let's see. I don't know if you have a vodka there, presently. It's a little early in the day, but let's see how many times you would drink. We have a little montage of those moments put together from last night alone. Watch.
Other leaders, heads of state, in thanking me, saying the reason we're together is because of Biden. Because Biden did the following. Look, folks, this is, anyway, I had things all the time. At the very end, I'm catching hell from my wife for that. Anyway, for the longest time it was, Biden's not prepared to sit with us unscripted. Biden's not prepared to, anyway.
My team wants you to know that wasn't the entirety of the anyways. That was just a sampling. It was not enough to actually get you drunk. But before you react, over the weekend, we saw the same verbal crutch. He kept saying when he loses his train of thought, which is often, he resorts to anyway or probably shouldn't to avoid whatever was going to come next or to avoid revealing that he has forgotten his train of thought. He's lost it yet again. Here's SOT 15.
Imagine this is the guy who says he wants to be a dictator on day one. Come on. Dictator on day one. He means it, though. You know he means it. Look what he did. Anyway, I won't go into too much detail. But certainly people look. What's the thing that people look to? I remember, anyway, I shouldn't get too personal. But
And by the way, I was in that World War I cemetery in France. And the one that one of our colleagues, the former president, didn't want to go and be up there. I probably shouldn't even say it. Anyway. We got to just remember who the hell we are. We're the only nation in the history of the world that has gone through every crisis and come out stronger than we went into the crisis. Every single time. And by the way, I've been all over the world with you. I've been in and out of battles. Anyway, you're incredible.
Oh my God, Michael. Uncomfortable.
We got to remember who the hell we are. I mean that literally. Who am I? Who are you? Where are we? Anyway, really bad. And especially at NATO, that's really bad because Biden's argument is that NATO wants him to remain president because he's going to be tough on Putin, unlike Trump, supposedly. He's going to support NATO, unlike Trump, supposedly. But the proof of the pudding is in the tasting. The only presidency during which Vladimir Putin has not invaded a country in the last, 20, 25 years, has been Trump's presidency. Things have fallen apart on Joe Biden's watch. And so, yes, does Donald Trump say, I'll talk to anybody, I'll work out a deal with anybody? He does. But then he works out the deal. So you get Putin remaining in Moscow, not going further into Ukraine. You get a relative peace in the Middle East. You even get little Rocket Man over in North Korea pulling back on the provocative rhetoric. Does Donald Trump say NATO needs to pay more? We need to stop footing the entire bill for NATO? He does. I'm sure NATO doesn't like to hear that. But guess what? Then they pony up, and Trump is a big supporter of America's alliances. Meanwhile, under Biden, things have gone to hell in a handbasket. And so if you are Vladimir Putin, who do you want to be president, really? I think it's clear. I think even most Democrats would probably admit today, candidly, if you're Putin, you want Biden because you get to do much more of what you want because Biden is just not all there. The lights are on, but nobody's home.
If you weren't following the news, a massive hit to the US dollar just came in June when Saudi Arabia did not renew its 50-year petrodollar deal with the US. Since 1974, Saudi Arabia has sold oil exclusively in US dollars, and that was huge to America's global economic dominance. Now they want options other than the dollar. So ask yourself, if there's less demand for the dollar, what happens next? Look, it's reasons like this that Americans are looking at Birch Gold Group. For over 20 years, Birch Gold has helped tens of thousands of Americans protect their savings by converting an IRA or 401k into an IRA in physical gold. To learn more, text the word MK to 989898 and claim your free, no obligation info kit on gold. That's MK to the number 989898. Birch Gold has earned the trust of many with their education-first approach, their thousands of happy customers, and so many 5-star reviews. Consider protecting your savings with gold before the dollar plunges any further. Text MK to 989898 today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.